Okay, so last time I failed, okay? I tried to explain my 16 stories and I got absolutely dog watered, okay? I failed, but today I will attempt to right my wrongs and attempt to talk about my 16 stories. It's okay. I got it from here, Mr. Pre-recorded man. And shoot, shoot. Hey guys, it's Megaverse back at it again. And you heard the title, but just in case you don't know like who I am, I want to make 16 interactive webtoons. These different choose your own stories will have different characters, plots, different world building, different power systems. There is like a main power system, but each one will have like mini different power systems as well. Within this franchise, um, the web comics will have music. I will have I will have a demo out. So I will have a demo out as well, just in case you want to know like what the comic is all about. I do have a demo in the description. Just go check it out. And with that all out the way, let's talk about the comic. Also, like PS, not every detail is planned yet and open, and it's all open to change. Okay, but I wanted to be interested. No, okay. Okay, so not every detail is like planned out. This is like a little PS thing. Everything is open to change. The only reason why I'm like telling you guys like all of these undeveloped and unfinished concepts is just to see like who's interested. If you want to support, I have 16 videos which will go over like me talking about supporting me like every time. It's up to you, but it's only if you want to see like my comic come to like fruition. Costs nothing. Okay, let's get into it. This comic series is called Dear, spelt like this. So, firstly, is Dear 1, the first story of Dear, or as I like to call it, Dear Classic. And Dear Classic follows Topman. I don't have character designs right now, so I plan on just putting like words. Anyway, Topman is our starting character. He is the one who starts off his story in his grandfather's treehouse. Now let me read directly from the script, because I made the script. Topman, who sets off the story. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Topman, who starts off the story in his grandfather's treehouse. His grandfather was cursed by a witch in his youth to have the powers of a tree. So the treehouse we start off the series in is the grandfather's skin, pretty much. Topman has been trained by 3 ghostly protectors: a rabbit, a snake, and a bear. Not spoiling too much, the first volume or arc of the story is leaving the grandfather's house to find him a cure. For you see, Topman has never once left the treehouse due to his grandfather's fear of the outside. However, through the cracks of the treehouse, and also with the help of the ghostly friends, they hear a rumor of a lucky cat who can grant all wishes, and although it is a rumor, it is the best chance of curing the curse. Now at this point, where I'm unsure of how much I should say. I'm not sure how much I should say up to here, spoiling all the content. Dear Classic is called Classic because it was the first story, and therefore I have the most for it. You can look at now, put over here, editor, put over here, I'm the editor, I'm talking to future me, put the timeline over here. Therefore, I have most of the script done. I have all the pages, show the pages. Yeah, I have a lot of the pages done. But it's not only that I don't want to spoil you guys on the story. I mean, I don't want to spoil you guys on the story, but also I don't want to be known as a copycat or imitation. I already know what you're gonna say. You don't have to worry, little bro. No one wants your ideas. That may be true, but it may also not be true. But I can say more after leaving the grandfather's house. I can say a little bit more about the story. I know not a lot of people are gonna take the story and stuff and steal the story. I know a lot of people aren't gonna steal the story, but it could happen, and then someone could do it way better than me. I'm a slow worker. Anyway, getting back into this. After leaving the grandfather's house, if you leave the grandfather's house, remember it's a choose your own story. So you can leave the grandfather's house, or you can stay. It will have staying is obviously not supposed to be the quest, and it doesn't start off the story, but you can have little story elements within it. Leaving is gonna get you to stuff like fishmen, wizards, gods, supernatural humans, the mafia, and the list continues of all the people who you can meet. Anyway, enough about the plot. Let's talk about the most important thing in any show, manga, comic, ignore the last one. Okay. Characters. Okay, characters are the most important. Okay, starting off with the main character, Topman. So this Topman is 19 years old, and he's 1 year away from being in his 20s. Due to working and training since he was 4 years old to help battle his grandfather's curse, and also being trapped inside most of his life, it makes Topman not all there in the head. Not to say he's mental, but just to say he's not regular. Which has him showcase, classic shonen main character traits. Traits like never giving up, stabbing yourself in the hands, needing to overcome a challenge. But typically when a character like Goku or Luffy does it, it's a positive trait. But when he does it, it comes from this mentality of being in a prison throughout his childhood. Sometimes he'll even question his path and his overall mission, questioning if his choices are really his own. And in a choose your own story, you can really see how this is going to get meta. There's going to be a lot of meta elements to the story as well. Topman's personality does change depending on your actions and your experiences. There's going to be some timelines. I think I talk about it in here, so I won't go off script too much. But his actions will change and his personality changes depending on your choices. For example, his loyalty for a certain underground nation may grow or shrink depending on his first couple of impressions. He may fall in love, he may die alone, which will, you know, showcase his feelings about love itself. Overall, I have a lot more I want to do with this character. I think it's rather interesting, but obviously as the author, that just isn't relevant. It's about what you guys think. Anyway, next is the grandfather, who is the second main character of the first volume, but also the antagonist trying to stop Topman from going to the outside world. Remember those three ghostly trainers I talked about? You know, the snake, the bear, and the rabbit. Remember them? You ever wondered why these three ghosts are training a 4-year-old in the first place? Well, it's because they were pets of the grandfather long ago. And they died against the witch that eventually curses the grandfather as well. The grandfather's life can be summed up as a tragedy. Born to unloving parents, his world was destroyed, he was cursed. He did later have like a hero uprising, becoming, you know, the town savior and all that. But after the war, his powers started like acting out, which is why we see him in the present have like a whole treehouse out of him, because he can't control that power. The curse power is consuming him, making him weak. And he had a daughter, and now that daughter, otherwise known as Topman's mother, is, I mean, she's important to the story. She is important to the story at some point, but for now she's dead. You know, there's a little bit of foresight about the story for you. She died on the outside world trying to find a cure for the grandfather, which was her father. So now everything bad that has ever happened to him has been happening on the outside. That's my explanation loosely. I hope you can see why he doesn't want his last blood relative, the only person he's been talking to for 19 years, to go outside on that very same mission to die. Now, admittedly, I know this video was a little bit long, like longer than it should be, and I you know, as the editor and the writer and the presenter, I will be cutting up the video to make it more clear. But for now, I have to say that Dear Classic, my whole Dear series, is very dear to me. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. But no, really, it's a huge project. And if you do have some interest, check out the other videos which I have about the series. Or you can check out, you know, the other videos that I made, the other 6 videos that I made. I don't know why there's a hand here. There was just something on my screen. Anyway, yeah, if you did like the story or want to see the story more, I know I haven't really like made it that appealing in my vocals, but it's basically like an adventure story. It's heavily inspired by like Hunter x Hunter, heavily inspired by like definitely JoJo's as well, stuff like that. There's like not much I can say. Wait, hold up. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of character stuff Be sure to check it out. The demo is out. There's also like a Google form. So there's also a playlist with the rest of the stuff. Check out the other videos.